And one of the things that makes what Joe has done so impressive is the amount of traveling that he does for these events.
Yeah.
It's coming from the West Coast.
We see him a lot of stuff. He's from Redwoods, California, lives out around the LA area. And we still see him out here for most of our East Coast-based tournaments, as we don't go to the West Coast as much anymore. So it's good to see him, obviously. Whenever we do see him, he's generally winning.
Yeah.
And for Legacy, this is, as you like to put it, it's his bread and butter. We know that.
Well, and you said you don't like to pick against Joe in this format, but how often do you want to be picking against Jim in a tight spot?
Not often.
Yeah, he pulls through. Whenever we see him with the winning ends, he's usually in.
Yeah. It's tough to, on one side, you know, I'm either picking against someone who specializes in playing Miracles and Legacy. You know, has a lot of performances on the SCG Tour with the deck, has a Grand Prix runner-up finish with the deck. On the other side, I'm picking against the 2015 Players Champion.
Yeah.
There's no easy choice here. Let's just say that. No easy choice. So these players will be ready to go here in just a moment. Moving the table over a little bit. All right.
There was a whole discussion about where this table's supposed to be.
So they'll be underway here in just a moment. Jim deciding if he wants to keep or not. It does not look like he wants to, so he will send it back. Joe looks like he will keep his hand. Yeah, that was about as awkward as it gets. That was maybe a fist bump, but then not a fist bump.
Well, I think Jim was pointing at something. I'm not sure
so.
what he was doing, but yeah.
He was giving the eyes in the sky a thumbs up.
Okay. And Joe was like, oh, a fist bump, sure.
Are we bumping fists? And it's like, no, we're not bumping fists. That's okay.
Like every time you try to shake hands with someone,
yeah,
and like, oh, fist bump, oh, handshake, fist.
Yeah, that's always awkward for everyone.
Yeah.
Right? Someone comes in. So here's the thing. Someone comes with the open hand, someone comes with a fist, and then the other person, one person's just like, am I supposed to deviate?
Yeah.
Like, who's supposed to change here?
Well, I think there needs to be an age where you just transition from one to the other. You've graduated.
From fist bump to handshake,
yeah,
or handshake to fist bump?
Come on.
Well, I'm pro fist bump. I'm 30.
No, you should have graduated by now.
No way. I love a good fist bump. Actually, I'm most pro high five.
Yeah, that's not a way you can open like a business meeting or an interview with someone who's going to be your superior. You can't be like, dude, thanks for interviewing me. High five. Like,
all right, fist bump it is. Totally fine. If he can't handle me at my worst, he doesn't get to have me at my best.
That's your interview strategy?
Right. That's right. A wasteland from Jim took care of a tundra.
Listen, Mr. Boss.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you the worst possible so that you know it's all uphill from here.
That's right. I'll bring the A game the rest of the way, I promise. Jim with an Underground Sea. You see Joe here with a Flooded Strand. That is a volcanic island. And Jim might have a Brainstorm, not yet. Jim with a Flooded Strand has another copy of Wasteland if he wants to use it. All right.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not just firing this off right away. I guess he's waiting for the upkeep.
Yeah, I think in the upkeep he's going to want to do this. All right, here's a Brainstorm. So we've seen Jim go after the fetch land before. I don't think he's going to do that in this instance.
Yeah, I can't imagine that would happen here.
We know that's in his range.
But yeah, the turn one Wasteland on the empty board is just kind of funny. It's like, all right, we'll just restart the game again next turn.
Yeah. Basic Island, pass the turn back. Jim draws. Abrupt Decay. Counterbalance is now covered. Is Jim ready to go towards Tarmogoyf, or would he prefer a Brainstorm?
Yeah, I wonder if Jim is aware of the spell snares that Joe is supporting in the main deck this weekend.
2 main deck copies. Goyf might be in there. All right, looks like it's good to go. 3-4 right now. Instant land and sorcery in the graveyard. Ha-ha. How lucky. It's almost like he knew that was there. All right, there's a Terminus. Tarmogoyf to the bottom. Jim not going to fight over that. He does have Force of Will plus Brainstorm in hand, but decides to let the Tarmogoyf go.
Yeah, it's tough to devote resources to defending the Tarmogoyf when it's so easy for Joe to deal with something else.
Yeah. Caracas, pass the turn back. We go to Jim. Ponder.
We're going to look at a lot of cards here.
Well, he's going to start with the Brainstorm, it appears. Good to go. 1, 2, and 3. A Force, a Dark Confidant, and a Abrupt Decay. All right, those are 3 spells.
I don't think he wants 2 Abrupt Decays right now.
I think I agree with you on that one. Looks like he doesn't want 2 Force Wills either.
Are you an Ice Age Brainstorm sort of guy?
Totally fine. It's not my favorite artwork of the card, but totally fine.
It's pretty great artwork.
Yeah, it's not bad. I've cast my fair share of Mercadian Mask Brainstorms. It's my favorite one. Jim is going to sacrifice a Polluted Delta. Go get another copy of Underground Sea. He'll play Dark Confidant and finish shuffling to save a little bit of time. And now Joe is going to Spell Snare it.
There it is.
All right. This is kind of what we talked about. Joe has 2 main deck copies of that card this weekend.
Yeah, Spell Pierce is not getting a Confidant.
No, it's not. And as you mentioned previously, we have seen people play actual Counterspell in this spot and a bunch of other stuff. Now it looks like Jim wants to fight back with Force of Will. So Confidant is in. We go to Joe Lossett. He'll play a Flooded Strand. With Jim's use of Force Will there, it's a pretty loud statement, I think.
Yeah, this card's very important to me.
Yeah.
And with how slow the game has developed, you really have to like Joe's position moving forward.
There goes Flooded Strand. There's a basic island. See, maybe it's Jace time here for Joe. Nope, just going to pass.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to walk into a daze.
Well, there that is.
Yes, speak of the devil.
Yep. And Stifle. Now, what's going to be interesting here, Jim is familiar with Joe and vice versa.
Yeah.
Joe's version of Miracles plays a whole bunch of creatures.
Yeah, all the flash creatures.
Yeah. It's got Venser, got Snapcaster, has some Billion Click. Well, it's going to be curious to see if Jim actually wanted to attack or not, and that's why he's kind of second-guessing himself a little bit, but here he comes.
He has the Abrupt Decay as an insurance policy. And he's also just put under pressure to advance the game. Mm-hmm. He's got to win this game.
Looks like it might be Snapcaster Mage. Yep. Joe in his graveyard has Brainstorm, Ponder, Spell Snare.
Terminus.
Tough to Snapcaster. Here's Abrupt Decay. He did target Brainstorm.
Yeah, no surprise.
Yeah. All right, here's Brainstorm. Clear for takeoff. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Lossett, of course, will have to put 2 back here in just a moment. Looks like Jace is going to be among the cards that go back. Abrupt Decay will take care of the Snapcaster Mage. Looks like Dark Confidant's going to come through.
Yeah, getting the job done.
Yep.
Game's basically over.
Nowhere to go from here. And Jim will pass. Lossett with the Terminus. Jim is going to try to stifle the Miracle Trigger. All right. Terminus going to stay in Joe's hand.
Yeah, that's kind of a funny interaction. Normally when you stifle something, it takes care of it for the rest of the game.
Yeah, not this time.
No, the Miracle Trigger, the way it works is you've drawn the card, so it's actually in your hand, and then you can cast it for its Miracle cost.
It's a little weird.
It's very weird.
Yeah. But again, this is just kind of demonstrating just how badly Jim needs the Dark Confidant.
Yes.
This is really all he's got left. He does have a Ponder and a Daze in hand. Ponder could help him to refuel a little bit, but for him, he wants to keep Dark Confidant going here. Top off of Caracas. Remember, Joe knows about the Daze that Jim has from the Dark Confidant reveal, so not really going to be taken by surprise. Trigger, Underground Sea. Draw for turn. Force of Will. Not bad.
Not bad. Not great.
Yep.
Gives him something to do with that Daze.
Dark Confidant in. Follow-up is a Ponder. Abrupt Decay. Delver of Secrets. Daze. No fetch land in hand.
Yeah, the Delver's pretty appealing, but the other 2 cards are not at all.
I'm kind of into Abrupt Decay right now. It's just a safety measure.
I feel like Jim doesn't have enough going on yet.
Okay. You'd shuffle here probably?
Yeah, I think I'd shuffle.
Okay. Mystery card. Huh? You like Delver?
Yeah.
The most. So
Delver was a good one.
All right.
That worked out pretty well.
So Joe, after he tried to play Terminus last turn, he followed up with a Brainstorm. So you know that Terminus is on the top of his deck now. And he's got a Sensei's Divine top to control it. So if I'm Jim, I probably can't even play this Delver, right?
Yeah, he has a force of will to fight that fight if he wants to. But he's probably thinking, yeah, the Confidant's enough of a threat that Joe's going to want to get rid of it.
On the end of turn, Joe says, I'm going to draw a card with top, play Terminus, resolve the Miracle Trigger, pay the white mana. All of this is okay. Worried about Stifles and Abrupt Decays and all of that stuff. And now, Jim, do you want to fight over this? Force removing Daze. The answer is yes. Unfortunately for Jim, these are the kind of battles he has to fight.
Yeah, these aren't very good battles for him. Obviously, having the Dark Confidant stick around makes it not as bad to lose the extra cards off of Force of Will, but he's going to end up losing this fight. And he's kind of in this bad position. He didn't want to get 2 for 1 by playing the Delver that turn, but he also just did this slow pace, just playing one threat at a time that doesn't do big chunks of damage is not going to be good enough to pressure Joe.
Well, Miracles loves that.
Yeah.
Click. Delver in a land.
Keep him.
Quick keep.
Keep him.
Yeah, you can keep him all right. Top, pass it back. Jim will draw. Polluted Delta.
Looks like Joe has found the extra copy of Caracas in his hand.
There's the other Delver. Jim will play a Delta. Pass the turn back. Joe, will he spin on upkeep?
Well, if you've got extra cards in your hand that you can't do anything with, Jace is probably the best way.
All right, Jace it is.
I think he's wondering if he wants to brainstorm or just start fate sealing.
That answers that.
Yep.
Wants to start fate sealing. Flooded Strand's what's staring back at him. He says, you can keep that. Pass the turn back.
Yeah. Do you just put a card on top every single time and hope your opponent sacrifices their fetch land?
Yeah, I don't play that mini game. Jim kind of wanted to play that mini game.
Yeah.
He didn't sacrifice the fetch land.
Yeah.
Here comes Delver. Yeah, Vanilla Clickle trade.
Yeah.
Now, Joe knows both cards in Jim's hand
Yes.
now.
Yep.
And when a Miracles player has a Jace and the opponent has nothing, the Miracles player's at 13.
It's not a bad spot.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, I'm glad I picked Joe.
Jim will draw. Delver's Secrets, sure.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about like the best draws for Jim here, like I think Brainstorm is the best one, but all like getting a threat onto the board. You know, maybe another Dark Confidant, a Tarmogoyf, a Delver, which he just drew. None of these cards, none of them are threatening. You know, those cards have to come down on turn 1 and 2 and then be backed up by Wastelands and Stifles and Dazes.
If I were Jim, I would be looking at the clock, see if there are 35 minutes, and I would just move on from this game.
Sure.
Look, man, if a Miracles player has Jace for 3 turns,
Jace, and yeah, now it's Caracas Venser.
yeah, and like a top going like this is just done. That's just how these games go. Like Joe finally got his feet set. He got his feet set at a really high life total.
And it wasn't even like he finally got his feet set. It didn't feel like any point he was struggling to get back into this game.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't feel threatened at all.
Jim will draw. Ooh, Disfigure. Nice. There's a Delver. Fast the turn back.
No. I got you.
I will Disfigure this. All right, totally fine.
Well, I told you there's little victories and big victories.
Oh, are there?
Yeah.
I feel like a big victory to you. How about this? Is this a big victory? You let me know what the big and small ones are.
The biggest victories of all?
Yes.
Second place at Invitationals.
Oof, that is good.
That's as big as it gets.
That is really good. Joe's going to sacrifice an Arid Mesa. The only reason and I don't really like to advise concessions, which is ironic because Reed Duke is walking by right now, who never ever concedes.
No, never concedes.
He never concedes. I'm not advising a concession, but time is important when you're playing against Miracles.
For sure.
And Jim doesn't set any land speed records either.
No.
So
he's a very deliberate player.
So I want to have as much time as possible to play games 2 and 3.
Yeah, and like you said, this Jace has been around forever.
Fate Seal. Oh, Delver. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe is leaving creatures on top of your deck now. Oh, a little sacrifice.
It's one of your better draws, and you can have it.
Jim will get a Tropical Island. Like, if Jim could decide what he wanted to draw every turn, I still think he would lose.
Yeah, he still wouldn't win this game.
Tarmogoyf. Joe's gonna spell something.
Yeah. And we're still playing this game.
Yeah. Joe gonna spin his top. He'll draw a card. He's gonna Fate Seal with Jace. Take a look. Tarmogoyf.
Yeah. Yeah. Who cares?
Totally fine.
Your best draw?
Yep.
Don't care. Yeah.
Totally fine. Draw. Tarmogoyf. Oh yeah. Joe is going to Snapcaster Mage a Spell Snare, I think. Yes. Jim will play a Flooded Strand, pass the turn back. Joe will spin the top. He'll leave those cards on top. Let's untap and draw. In for 2.
I'm kind of wondering what we're doing here.
I mean, I'm surprised that I'm surprised that Jim is still playing the game. Like, if you just have a no concession philosophy, it's totally fine. I just don't. We're not in a world where Jim can win the game.
Yeah.
It just doesn't exist.
Well, and like you said, there is a broader strategic consideration here.
Yes.
And he's going to have to win 2 more games in a potentially very slow matchup.
Yeah, in 30 minutes instead of 35 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, and those 5 minutes could be the world of difference here.
And I don't think he's picking up any additional information.
No. The only thing that could be, the only thought process I could think of here is that if they do go to a draw, you know, is 11-2-2 good enough for top 8? That I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not a mathematician. But he's obviously dead set on playing the game out, so.
Yeah, I didn't take a good look at the standings to see, you know, exactly which records were needed for top 8, but maybe Jim has.
Yeah, maybe 11-2-2 is in play for Jim.
That's a fair argument.
Yeah. All right, Ultimate Jace. Here's a Brainstorm. All right, Hardcast to Force of Will. That's a never say die attitude.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, if you're not gonna concede, you have to not concede the whole time.
Both of them did it.
It's
like he could have just let the Brainstorm resolve.
Yeah.
Who cares, man?
Yeah. Joe Lossett's gonna win game number 1 here over Jim Davis. Miracles up a game over Saltai Delver. And Jim Davis is out of here.
Yeah, just had enough.
Yeah.
We can see him heading for the doors.
He's going to take a quick restroom break. So while he does that, we are going to talk about the sideboards here very quickly. So we will start with Jim Davis, who's got 2 Baleful Strict, 2 Thoughtseize, a Piddling Needle, 2 Surgical Extraction, a Null Rod, a Maelstrom Pulse, a Force of Will, a Dismember, a Marsh Casualties, 2 Dread of Night, and a Winter Orb. There are some good cards to bring in here at least.
Yeah, the Winter Orb is particularly interesting. It's kind of a tricky card that doesn't see a whole lot of play, so you can really trick a lot of players with that card. You know, they just don't expect it. You're getting a nice counter war on their turn. The opponent tries to tap out for a big Planeswalker or something like that, and you just lock them up under that Winter Orb for the rest of the game.
I could see that being a good one. I like the Thoughtseize, of course.
Yep, Thoughtseize, maybe the Force of Will comes in.
Yeah. He's got some bad cards. Well, bad in the matchup, obviously.
Yeah, the Disfigures need to come out. The Abrupt Decays are still good in this matchup. I can see, you know, keeping those.
Stifles seems mediocre to me.
Yes, Stifles often come out. Especially Joe is a pretty veteran player. He'll play around them effectively.
For Joe, he's got 3 Flusterstorms, 2 Red Elemental Blasts, 2 Back to Basics, 2 Moats, 2 Surgical Extractions, a Wear Terror, Kozilek's Return, Engineer Explosives, and a Pyroblast. I expect to see these enchantments here. Yeah,
Back to Basics, really tough for Jim to beat. It's funny, we might see Winter Orb on one side and Back to Basics on the other. And the Moats, we've seen Joe bring these in a lot of matchups. Just a really strong card. A lot of people don't have answers for it.
Yeah, we haven't got to see him cast it just yet, but I know a lot of people don't have a lot of answers for it, and I think Jim is also in that camp. So we will see how things do shake out here. Jim Davis will be back to the Future Match area. We will watch game number 2 between Jim Davis and Joe Lossett in just a moment, as there is the Players' Champion back in the saddle. In the meantime, we've got an open weekend taking place in Columbus next weekend, and we're hoping to see many of you out there. You can learn more about that open weekend right now.
Join us on the SCG Tour November 11th through the 12th for the Columbus Open Weekend. On Saturday, play in the Modern Open main event. Every competitor gets a playmat featuring Steel Overseer, plus our latest Invitational Winners token just for playing. The top 8 finishers earn a spot in an upcoming Invitational and get one step closer to the Players' Championship. On Sunday, it's your format, your tournament, as you choose between Standard and Legacy Classics. All participants get an Invitational Winners token, Standard players receive a Dark Salvation playmat, Legacy players receive a Sensei's Divining Top playmat, and the top 4 competitors in each Classic qualify for an Invitational. There's plenty more to do in Columbus. All weekend, play in side events and earn tickets to spend at the SCG Prize Wall. Between rounds, meet the weekend's special guests, Magic artists RK Post. And don't forget to tune into SCG Live as Chris VanMeter, Andrew Boswell, and Nick Miller bring you coverage all weekend long. The Columbus Open weekend is November 11th through the 12th. Step into the spotlight.
November 12th and the 13th, come hang out with us at the SCG Tour stop in Columbus, Ohio. Beautiful Ohio.
Yeah, get yourself some sweet playmats.
Yeah, a little Steel Overseer action, play some Modern. Gonna be a good old time down there in Columbus.
Beautiful Columbus?
Columbus is awesome.
Yeah?
Columbus is awesome. It is awesome.
All right, I'm in.
I'm obviously a Clevelander, but right near Ohio State.
Wait.
I know.
You're from the Ohio area?
I know. A little shockaroo there. But Columbus is... So I can't even count the number of tournaments I've played / commentated / just been at.
Is that because you don't count very well, or it's just a big number?
It's just a big number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In Columbus. I seriously think over like the 15 years I've been playing Magic, like Columbus was my first big tournament, the Amateur Championships.
Okay.
At Origins. It was my first big tournament. It was my first state tournament in Columbus.
Amateur is that like a JSS type thing, or?
It was this tournament they had at Origins that was kind of popular, where it was if you had no pro points, you were allowed to play in it.
Okay.
So I was 14 or 15, I think, and that was like a huge deal because I was driving 2 hours south.
This was pre-metal?
This is pre all of that nonsense. Yes.
Okay.
Pre-wrestling metal, yes. So that was my first big tournament there, and then state championships, my first one was there. My second Grand Prix was there. Maybe third Grand Prix was there. Columbus, where I met you, and you smashed me in the top 4 of the Grand Prix, and then
oh, promise of power.
Yeah, and then got smashed.
Oh, I got rolled up in the finals
by R&D. Actually, I think Mike's still an R&D. I mean, Magic Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And maybe current R&D member, but still works for Wizards of the Coast, Mike Turian.
Yeah.
Who was actually responsible for me ever playing competitive Magic.
Really?
Yes.
He was such a nice guy.
That's actually why.
Probably still is such a nice guy.
Still a very nice guy, yes. So, yeah, the number of tournaments I've played in Columbus is unbelievable. And there'll be another one next weekend.
The potato.
Yeah, Mike Turian. Just one of the best limited players of all time. One of the best Magic players of all time.
One of the best nicknames of all time.
Also true. All of that is accurate. It looks like Jim taking a mulligan, Joe's going to keep. Mike Turian, I played against him in an Origins side event. I think when I was like 16. I think he got mana screwed twice.
Okay.
And I braids locked him or something.
Oh, braids.
Yeah. Or like, I think we had like one competitive game that I may have accidentally won in the second game. He definitely got mana screwed, but was, really nice about it. And, he's like, let me check out your deck. So it's not one of those where I was like, hey, do you want to check out my deck? He was like, let me check out your deck. And I'm like, cool, thanks. And he gave me some advice and stuff. And he's like, hey, you played pretty good. Good luck in the rest of the tournament. I was like, oh man, that's like the nicest guy ever. And then we started seeing each other at some tournaments and stuff, and he was just super nice all the time because he was the nicest guy ever.
Yeah.
And he's unbelievable at Magic. And then we got to have that fun interaction where we both top 8 at the Grand Prix, and he won because he was the best player at the top 8, and probably the best player in the tournament.
Yep.
He was so good at that limited format. Mirrored and Darksteel. But now we're off topic. Jim's going to play a Delver of Secrets here. Off an Underground Sea that was found via Flooded Strand.
And this is the start that he needs. Looks like he's got the Wasteland in his hand. A little Brainstorm action.
Yeah, it's not a bad hand. Obviously, he's hoping that Joe doesn't start off with a Swords to Plowshares or anything like that.
Of course.
Joe prepared to draw, I think. Yep. All right, there's a top. In there. Let's go to Davis. Checking. Hitting.
Boom.
That's real important.
Boom.
Which is a relatively obvious statement.
Yep.
You want the Delver to flip, but Jim's hand is pretty good. It's not great.
Not great. And the difference between 1 and 3 is it's more than too.
Yes. Yes, it is.
In the broader scheme of things.
Yeah. There's a big difference here. So Joe's down to 17, not 19. Trust me, we know what you mean. We think. We think.
You know, basic math.
Yeah.
All that.
So what's a little interesting about this spot, Jim is going to fire off a Wasteland, and I think he would like to ponder, but he's not going to. He's going to keep up Stifle.
Yeah, I like the Stifle backup here.
All right. Jim will untap. Jim will draw Scalding Tarn. Insectile Aberration in for 3. Joe Funk down to 14. There's a Flooded Strand. Pass a turn back. Lossett does have a Swords. And I think we're going to see Davis respond with a Brainstorm.
Yep.
The thing that's tough here for Jim is he's going to draw 3 cards. We'll take a look at those first. Null Rod, Thoughtseize, and a Delver Seeker. The thing that's tough is that he wants to be able to protect this Delver to keep this sort of game going.
Yeah.
But there's no dates, there's no force of will to allow that. And it looks like he's going to let go of Stifle plus the fetch land. Maybe a different card. Yeah, he's going to let go of Stifle now, it looks like.
Yeah, every turn that goes by, the Stifle's a little bit less exciting.
The Stifle to me is just like, you're trying to get him. You know?
Yeah. Well, I guess it's more of a hopeful play.
Yeah. Hey, maybe it's better than we're giving it credit for. We'll see how the game kind of plays out. As Joe quite obviously plays a fetch land. Jim gonna draw the Thoughtseize. Jim gonna lead with the Thoughtseize.
All right, we're gonna find out what's up here.
Wear Tear Jace, Venser, Spell Snare, Engineer Explosives.
And you can see the experience from both of these players. The Wear Tear is only in there because Joe knows that Jim's got a couple of Silver Bullet artifacts in his sideboard.
Null Rod.
Yep, and Winter Orb.
Yep. Smart sideboarding by Joe. What's Davis want to take, though? Might be thinking Venser?
I'm thinking the Engineered Explosives. You know, he wants to be able to deploy this other Delver and keep it safe. You know, Joe looks like he's pretty stuck on lands. He does have that top to go digging for them. He'll be able to find what he needs. But, you know, right now, the cheaper plays are just so much more important.
Jim will pass. Joe will spin the top.
And Jim is just being very patient with this Stifle. Really wants to get him with it.
Well, if Joe doesn't find a land in this top spin, things get a little bit more interesting. Because at this point, I think Joe is smart enough to know Jim has Stifle in his hand.
Yeah.
Because Jim has a Ponder that he revealed.
Yep.
And he hasn't cast it. So there's nothing else it could realistically be. Jim, on his upkeep, after Joe misses his land drop, is going to search up a tropical island with the Flooded Strand. And now he will play a Delver. Yeah, he didn't draw a card yet. Yeah, that's important. I was pretty sure he didn't.
Yep, you get a card each turn of the game.
One of the best parts of Magic. All right, tropical island. Yeah, now his play might actually just be different.
Yeah, he might lead with Ponder.
Uh-huh. He might go to Null Rod. Like, he's got a couple options.
Sure, he knows he's staring into the teeth of that Spell Snare.
Yep.
I doubt that Null Rod gets cast anytime soon.
Daze, Spell Pierce, Ponder.
Those are 3 good ones in this situation.
Yeah, they are. Is there one of these that you want immediately?
I think the Daze is the best one in the hand. It's the trickiest one. It's the one you don't want to reveal to the opponent. You know, when you're flipping your Delver.
Yep.
So I think you want to take the Daze.
Which he did. Now he'll play a Delver.
And you want to be able to use the Daze as soon as possible as well.
Also true. All right, will Joe play back?
And Daze is actually extra good here. Because if you Daze a 1-mana spell,
like I think we're about to see.
yeah, Joe's going to be forced to crack his fetch land. Which he knows is just going to walk into a stifle, which he cannot do.
Yep. Oh, well, how about this? Yep, so, yeah, Jim might as well just play with the stifle face up.
Yeah. It's just on the board at this point.
Yeah, he might as well just play, because the way that Joe's even resolving Terminus now is, you know, do you want to stifle this trigger? All right. Stifle the trigger on the Terminus. That's Joe's draw for the turn. Now what? Joe's going to sacrifice the fetch line because it's safe to do so.
Yeah, the coast is clear. I better do this now.
Yep. And there's a basic island.
And you can see how Jim's just all in on this Delver.
Mm-hmm. Joe will pass. Jim will transform via Spell Pierce. He'll draw Spell Pierce for the turn. Here comes an attack for 3. Lossett's going to fall down to 10. I wonder if we're going to have a battle over the Null Rod now. Well, then answer that question.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised to see this. The top is obviously quite good.
I mean, it just feels like to me Jim's all in. Like I think I would Spell Pierce back.
Yeah, to me, the Spell Pierce just seems too valuable to protect the
Delver?
the flip Delver.
Okay.
Which makes me surprised that he even cast the Null Rod at all. Like, if you're not going to fight that counter war, why are you playing the Null Rod? Eventually your opponent's going to have to tap some lands on their own turn.
Yeah, like so I totally agree with you. In that instance, I kind of want to Spell Pierce back because I'm just kind of all in on trying to mana screw Joe. At that point, maybe I'm too all in on that. But I'm kind of all in on that. Either way, the Null Rod got countered by a Spell Snare. Spell Pierce still in Jim Davis's hand. That's the only card he's got. Joe gonna draw a card with the top. It's a Brainstorm. Joe gonna play a Brainstorm. 1, 2, 3. One of them is top, of course.
Digging deep.
Yes, he is. This is a way for him to put Terminus back on top of his deck, too. Nick Miller coming in with the updates here. Take a look at all of these here in just a moment while Joe does take his turn. Don't think we're going to have a backup match. This one is taking plenty of time.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
Yeah, this was my concern.
I would think both these players are looking for a win here.
Yep, Jim is going to Spell Pierce the top. And now it's a Ponder. Wear tear's been moved around in there. You see the terminus in there. That's no surprise, given that the brainstorm resolved. Draw card. Wear tear. Pass the turn back. Davis will untap quickly and draw. Ponder. 1, 2, 3. Wasteland, Dark Confidant, Deathrite Shaman.
Okay.
He'll keep, take the Wasteland, attack for 3. Gonna Wasteland the Caracas.
Yeah, those were 3 cards I can get behind.
Yep, Jim knew the Terminus was coming. He puts that to the bottom of his deck very quickly. Joe just gonna play a Scalding Tarn, pass the turn back. Jim's draw here should be a Dark Confidant. Pass the turn. Joe will draw. It's land 4. This game just got real tough.
Yeah. Man, yeah, we saw just how patient Joe was this whole game. He did not want to lose an extra land to the Stifle. We see how important those lands are. You know, the Wasteland and the Dazes can make the situation so backbreaking, and he played it very well.
He's never panicked.
Yeah.
There's Jace, bounce the Dark Confidant, down to 2, pass the turn. Jim will play Dark Confidant and Deathrite Shaman, pass the turn back over to Joe. You see players playing at a bit of an accelerated pace now.
Yeah, Jim's turn was pretty easy there.
Yeah. Now we just got to hope Joe doesn't really find too much. Here's a Brainstorm with Jace.
Yeah, another Terminus. Really just close out this game.
It's probably lights out, yeah.
Swords to Plowshare is obviously very, very good. Snapcaster Mage would get the job done. There's a sword in the graveyard.
There's an island.
I believe there's a sword in the graveyard.
There should be. Here's a Venser, bounce Dark Confidant. Sensei's Divine Top made its way onto the battlefield as well.
The Deathrite Shaman is problematic.
Yes, it is. Ooh. All right, Pithing Needle.
This puts Jim in a tough spot. He's got a decision to make.
Yeah.
You know, he wants to get the Confidant back onto the board. He really wants to Pithing Needle, stop that Jace. But he had, you know, whichever one he goes, you know, he has to use the Deathrite Shaman to start machine gunning down his opponent. He only has 1 black source.
I'm shutting down Jace.
Yeah.
I think it's too good right now.
Yeah, I think shutting down Jace and riding the Deathrite Shaman is the path I would take.
He named Jace. Now here's Deathrite.
Oh,
or excuse me, here's Dark Confidant.
Dark Confidant, yeah.
You said you would just write out Deathrite Shaman?
I think I try to condense the game.
Okay. Top couple of cards here for Joe from a Brainstorm. We're under 11 minutes. Tick-tock goes that clock.
Yeah, Dark Confidant is great in this situation, but it does not matter if the game's over.
True. Two cards go back. One of them is a Jace the Mind Sculptor. Joe with a Wear Tear. He'll take care of that. Jace is going to go down, get rid of Dark Confidant. And now we go back over to Jim. Jim wants to remove a land very quickly. Get rid of the Caracas. Jim will draw. How do we do this time? Daze? Not all that exciting.
Yeah, and now he's in the same dilemma. Does he just deploy?
Oh, see, if I'm Jim, I'm going to play Dark Confidant, daze it.
Sure.
With the Underground Sea.
Yeah, I like that play.
Pay it with the Trop.
Yeah.
It actually, I mean, it looks horrible, but it gives me the chance to do it all. Yes.
Yeah, and he's doing it.
Yeah. Pay it, replay it.
Yeah, I like this.
I mean, he's got to jump through some hoops to try to win this thing. And Joe's going to play a Brainstorm. He's also got to, Fate a Terminus the entire rest of the game.
A lot of cards. Not just Terminus.
Yeah. Two cards going to go back here. All right. Brainstorm's unresolved. 2, 3 from the top. Caracas in there. Remember, Joe plays 2 of those.
Caracas is a good one.
Yep.
Oh, and a Snapcaster.
That's pretty good, too.
Yeah.
There's Caracas. Tough part here is that you can't move until Deathrite Shaman moves.
Yeah.
So Jace is going to bounce Dark Confidant. Here comes Venser. Pass. Deathrite is going to go after Wear Tear. And now Joe's going to make his move with Snapcaster Mage. He should have a Swords in the graveyard.
Yep.
Which he does. So goodbye, Deathrite Shaman. Now we see Jim Davis take his turn. And he's got an Abrupt Decay now.
It took a long time to get here, but you have to like Joe's position.
I think so now, yeah. Confidant. Spin the top.
Yeah, that little wizard's got to be dizzy. Just coming into the board and leaving it so many times.
Yeah. I just want to draw a card. That's all I want to do.
Put me in the game, coach. All right, here you go.
Yeah.
No, you're out of the game. Sorry, coach. I don't know what I did wrong. Back in the game. Oh, yeah, coach.
Joe doesn't want him in the game. Joe's going to Caracas his Venser. Now he'll draw. Found a Cavern. I think we're going to see him named Wizard here. And now it's an uncounterable Venser.
Buffalo. I think he named Buffalo.
Yeah. Dark Confidant is never drawing a card. It's never happening. Deathrite Shaman. All right, this again.
We've been here before.
Yeah, this again.
I think Joe has Entreat the Angels on top of his deck.
It's in the top 3.
Yeah.
Jace is in there too. And I think we just found Terminus. Bounce, Venser, untap, bang. I don't think there's any coming back from that. Draw a card. Play the Jace maybe?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and this is the point where it's just ridiculous.
Yep.
All right, you just cast a 1-mana Wrath of God. Deploy the best Planeswalker in the game. You have your Venture in reserve. Entreat the Angels on top of the deck.
And replaying a top. Davis will draw. He's got an Abrupt Decay and a Polluted Delta. He'll just pass the turn back. Lossett will spin that top. And now it's just time for number 4 on the SCG Tour Player of the Year race to close it out.
You saw he's in no hurry here. He picked up a little extra insurance.
He's going to start Fate Sealing now. Take a look at the top cards and Abrupt Decay, by all means. Wouldn't be surprised if the counterbalances are out of Joe's deck. Jim will sacrifice a Polluted Delta. What was that top card? Abrupt Decay? I don't want one of those. I already got one of those in my hand. Davis will draw a card here in just a moment.
Upkeep.
Yep, Joe wants to entreat some angels, I believe. Yes. Waiting to make sure the Miracle Trigger does resolve. Which it does. Joe's going to do this for 3 to play around Spell Pierce. Doesn't have to worry about Force of Will. Doesn't have to worry about Daze. 3 angels on the way. Davis will draw Tarmogoyf, Abrupt Decay. 2 pretty good Magic cards, but I don't think good enough right now.
And you might wonder why Joe didn't make it for 4 when he has the Pyroblast left. Like you said, he's playing around some spells that have a good chance of being in Jim's hand. And he's not in a rush. He doesn't have to finish the game the next turn. He doesn't even have to finish the game the turn after that. So if it takes him a little bit longer, doesn't matter.
He can save that Pyroblast for a real thing like this Brainstorm. Yeah.
Yep.
That'll take care of that. Joe Lossett's going to win this match here over Jim Davis. 2-0. Miracles will take care of Saltide Delver. And it's Joe Lossett who is headed to our elimination rounds in just a little bit.
No strange.